everyone, welcome back to the Have Dive, where I attempt to try to help others by acting like I know a lot and am very knowledgeable guy, when in reality I'm listening to music that talks about dancing at the club, twerking, and other obscenities that you can think of from Latin music and still have not moved out of my parents' apartment as of the moment of writing this. Well, such is life, what else can I say? For this one, I did see some people send some stuff in, so I guess I'll take the chance to take a look at that and see what thought-provoking questions or comments these people left. Uh, I love the audience I have accumulated. It clearly shows they respect me, and I do the same. There's one more actually. Hold on, let me see. You remind me of Marcelo Hernandez. He's the funniest guy, but is able to talk about serious things without making you feel down or bored. Had to search this guy up, and one of the first images I saw of this guy was next to Bad Bunny, which I found hilarious. I appreciate the comment though. I try my best to be funny in a world full of funny boys and gals, smart fellas and fart smellers, however the saying goes. These videos aren't always going to be the best to watch when you're trying to eat breakfast at 11 in the morning on a Saturday. I suggest go watch Animaniacs for some fun shits and giggles. But if you want to trick yourself into trying to learn something for your day, I'm the perfect channel to do so. Watch my shit like 20 times and maybe you'll learn how to even do my stuff but better. Anyways, that comment I made about respect does lead me to a little anecdote that I have to share and somewhat the theme of the whole video I wanted to focus on for this one. The one theme, or I guess the couple of themes I wanted to talk about, was the idea of admitting when you're wrong and asking for help. So, for short, help and acknowledgement. But you might be asking yourself, oh, great host, what made you think about trying to talk about this idea of asking for help or being mindful of when to say sorry or being wrong or whatever? It all started in 2004, but to speed it up a little bit, I had a situation at work on Friday. Again, which is not surprising if I'm going to be honest. If work for you is spotlessly clean, then you are for sure hiding something, or the workplace is hiding something. I don't trust that work is going to not going to be stressful forever, and there will always, always be a situation where stuff fucks up. And I did the fucking up this time. See, they gave me to do a job, right? That's what hiring is for, and that's what they hired me for, duh. But being the anxious little young adult that I am, I feel inclined to help out in other stuff when need be, and even when not need be, which leads to assumptions that, okay, this guy does this now, so it is now part of his responsibilities, which can be abused by others, not just in work, but in relationships, situations, and other stuff outside of work as well. So first off, be careful about that. And second, continuing on, it was me trying to juggle and help out in other stuff that they do not pay me for, which results in me feeling exhausted and repressed, sort of angry. The delivery driver that was waiting there got my attention after I had a slight rest. And I'm pretty confident that he did not say it in a mean way, and if he did, it was just because he was also exhausted, but asked me when the food is ready. So, me being the impatient and unable to control my emotions type of guy, got a little pissed off when responding, which resulted in me verbally fighting him, saying stuff like, listen, I need you to calm down. Can you calm down? And I can't forget about me saying, do you want to wait or not? As if I was that kind of guy in the right, as well as just as if he's replaceable. In hindsight, I was not right, since the gentleman did ask if the food is ready and how long until it is, and I pretty much never got the chance to ask the kitchen, so I never told him a time, even if it was just not right, which makes sense why that guy was pissed waiting for a teenager looking guy to not help him in his job. At that point, I just let the manager handle him. Better to have someone else manage the situation than me, and go on about the rest of my duties and not trying to help out on other stuff to not get even further repressed or angry. Looking back at it, of course, I feel bad for the guy. If I did have the chance to apologize, I would probably not, though, in all honesty. Why? Is it my ego, my pride, my anxiety of letting myself be wrong be a reality? Nah, it's because in my mind I'll never see the guy again, and what change does it do if I were to? But that does not mean following my footsteps and do exactly what I do, which is still have a bit of resentment towards the situation and slightly on the guy as well, and not admit to being wrong in front of who you were wrong to. Do the opposite. It's the one thing I want you to take from this. I'm pretty sure I'm the manifestation of do as I say, not as I do at this point, which I really, looking back at the situation, I really do take a lot after my own father and as well as a Schlatt's persona. It's hard to admit when you're wrong, especially in the heat of the moment, but something that you should take away from my situation is take the chance to acknowledge the situation, know what happened with a clear head, either from your own perspective or get a second view on it, and see what needs fixing or needing amendments, if any. Do not think, oh, I don't want to apologize or be in the wrong because I can't be wrong. I'm awesome like that. No, you are likely to be wrong, as well as likely to messing up in some part in the future. And you can take that chance to improve and better handle what comes in the future as well. You can be, you can be the bigger person in the situation rather than ruin something that you think you were in the right for. Looking back at it, realize that's not the situation and not do anything to try to fix it. On top of that, another thing happened Saturday, the day after as well. What a week, right? One day you're fighting with the guy who he himself says, quote, we're both working for the customer, end quote. And another, you're fighting with the head chef because you have been so engraved in trying to help out in almost any task given to you, even if it doesn't relate to what they originally hired you for. I didn't want to ask for help on serving food and organizing what goes where, so I tried my best to handle that. At some point, I shouted, not in a mad way, but just to get their attention, to start making the food for the table, and the head chef starts walking away shouting nonsense and I think cursing at me, which resulted in me getting mad at the chef. Sunday, I went to work after my other job, doing my stuff mainly, which means avoiding the kitchen at all costs, unless I need to pack up the food or get the packed food and give it to the person. I didn't bother talking to most of the chefs, the coworkers, and especially the head chef. Even when I needed a specific food item for takeout, I told someone else to ask for me. I didn't bother asking for help outside of work and how to handle it, nor from the manager to see if they can help me out, and I regret it. It did I did have someone to share the horrible experiences in the food industry, which made me feel better knowing that they fucked up more or they went through worse than I did. And I got more calm headed to even write this stuff down and give it time. But if it wasn't for this person, I would not have asked for help on how to handle this. Um, and for anything really, it may seem that you're weak or not smart enough to handle it on your own, or that you aren't the right person for the job, which those assumptions could be further from the truth if you were to take a chance to reflect. I can't really sugarcoat it either, though. It doesn't necessarily mean just that. Sure, for some heavy load, you might be weak to try to do it yourself, but it could also mean that you just need advice or a second set of eyes to look at the situation and compare it or add on to yours. Asking for help is something that people are starting to incorporate into their everyday lives, such as college, having outlets for students to talk about their problems for either schoolwork or personal conferences for work to chime in and see how you're doing and more. So please speak up if there's something bothering you, but don't also make a scene when doing so. Use your inside voice, be respectful, and realize that mad and bad moments will not stay forever, unless you make them stay in your mind forever. Life, is how I see it, is meant to be enjoyed to the fullest, or at least as much as you can enjoy out of it. Not to to deprive others of that joy, or piss yourself off to the point of wanting to just stay in bed depressed. Trust me, no. If you're living like that, you're not enjoying the wonders that there is to be shared. Like me rambling on about, quote, life lessons while playing video games in the background. I think that's about all I have to say for this one. I'm hella tired. It's 12:29 a.m. If there's anything I want you to remember for this is that please be a better person than me, or at least the me from now, or at least attempt to be a better person than me. Hopefully, I change for the better in the future. I'll see. Hope you have a good rest of your day, night, whatever, and I'll see you next one. Ciao.